Hey guys, if you notice, I'm actually using my signature as my logo, and signatures make great logos because they're very unique. Your signature is personal to you and nobody else in the world has it, so it's a great idea to convert your signature into a logo. So I thought I'd show you guys exactly how I did that if you wanted to convert your signature into a logo, and we will be using my wife Lauren's signature as an example. So for this project, all you're going to need are a couple of pens, a piece of paper, a scanner, and the program Adobe Illustrator. If you don't have Adobe Illustrator, a lot of libraries actually have it where you can go in there and use it for free. So step one is just write your signature, fill up. I try to do 2 full blank pages, and I'll just completely cover an entire page with my signature. Different variations of it. I try different pen sizes, thicknesses, until I find one that I really like. In addition to pen thickness, one of the things you can play with is also how fast you write your signature. Letters look differently when you're taking your time and going slowly, and when you're just kind of flippantly writing as quickly as you can. And sometimes some look better than others. So on this next one, why don't we go ahead and try to write this next one really fast. There we go. So once you've filled up 2 complete pages with all different variations of your signature, the next step is to actually pick your favorite. So you should end up with something like this. This one's written with a little bit of a thicker pen. This one was written with a little bit of a lighter pen. So pick your favorite, and then you're going to scan them into the computer. Okay, so once you have done that and you've picked out your favorite signature of all the ones you've completed, you should have something which looks something like this. So when you have that image, I just cropped it down away from the other signatures, and I actually went in there and played with a little bit of the brightness and contrast to make it look more just plain white paper with no background in Photoshop, and I brought it now into Adobe Illustrator. So once it's in Illustrator, it's super easy to convert this to a logo. Right now, if you try to use the signature as is, there's obviously the background isn't transparent. It still looks a little rough around the edges, as you can see. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to do something called make and expand, where we actually trace the outside of this image. So you highlight the image that you just brought in, you go over to Object, you scroll down to where it says Image Trace, and you're going to select where it says Make and Expand. So I'm going to click that now. And what you can see is it actually converted this image. So you'll see a bunch of blue dots and blue lines. If you zoom in here, these are different anchors and paths that essentially just trace the outside of the whole signature and remove the background. So one of the cool things about it is, let's say there is something about your signature that you didn't like, you wanted to tweak, you liked pretty much all of it but not some of it. You can come in here and tweak it by just simply moving these anchors and paths. So one of the things I can do is I can come and actually select this individual path, and let's say I wanted it to be a little bit thicker up the top. I can make it thicker. Let's say that there is a little bit too much detail in here for me. I wanted this line a little bit straighter. I could just select that path and then delete it. And then let's go down here and select this path as well, and then delete that, and the line is going to begin to straighten up, and I can just tweak and finagle, make this image however I want it to look by moving and adjusting these paths here. Okay, so what I've done now is I've actually cleaned it up just a little bit, as you can see, and I went ahead and showed the transparency grid so that I can actually see what of the object is transparent. So if I overlay it on top of other images, it'll come through nicely without a white background. But I'm going to make my final tweaks here, and one of the things I wanted to do is this L, the last part of her name, looks like it's a little far out from some of the other letters, so I'm going to go ahead and just select those objects there, and I'm just going to go ahead and move all of them in and tighten it up just a little bit. And I also wanted to come and just mess with the L a little bit. It looks a little too tall if you look at it compared to the D. So I wanted just to rein the L in just a tiny bit. So I'm going to go ahead and select that group right there and just go ahead and pull it down using my arrow keys. So now that you made your final tweaks, all you have to do now is go ahead and finalize and export this image. I'm going to click on File, I'm going to click Export, and I want to export it as a PNG, not a JPEG, a PNG, so that the transparency can stay on the back. So I'm going to select that, and then I'm going to go ahead and export it, and when I export it, I'm going to make sure the resolution is on high so I have a nice large image, a logo that I can use on higher quality print items or bigger images. And then make sure the background color is transparent so I can overlay it on other images without it basically having a white background, and click OK. And that's it, and now you'll have a nice looking image. Okay guys, as you can see, it's pretty easy to convert your signature into an awesome looking logo, and you should have ended up with something like this right here. And I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial video, and I'll make more little tips and tricks here in a bit.